you're the Son of God, like Nathanael, you can know he brought you. This is really encouraging. The powerful evidence that you're his is that you came. He brought you. You're not in a fragile situation. These hands are not fragile. Chapter 10, verse 29, nobody can pluck them out of my hand. My Father put them in. Nobody takes them out. So, number 6, Jesus has authority unilaterally to command and get allegiance. Finally, number 7, Jesus knows our internal and external condition. Let's read verses 45 to 48. Philip found Nathanael. You know that I could preach a whole sermon on evangelism, don't you? Maybe you thought that's what I would do. Well, maybe later. Jesus is too important here for me to shift the focus onto our duty rather than his spectacular character here. I hope he produces this kind of evangelism for you. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, we have found him of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, son of Joseph. Nathanael said to him, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Philip said to him, now, you recognize these words? Come and see. That's what Jesus had said before they knew what they were coming to. They didn't get it fully, and then they saw, come and see. Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said of him, behold an Israelite, indeed in whom there is no deceit. That's very strange. This guy just said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And Jesus says, there's a man without any guile. Well, no, but he's full of prejudice. What's that? Nathanael said to him, how do you know me? And Jesus answered him, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. Jesus knows two kinds of things about everybody. He knows what's on the outside, your circumstances, whether you're on a fig tree or not. And he knows your inside and whether you're deceitful or not. He knows two things about everybody. He knows your inside, he knows your outside. I regard this as spectacularly good news. Maybe you don't, I don't know. Maybe the knowledge of Jesus of your life is scary to you. I would like to describe it for you, bring you to a point where perhaps it would sound like glorious gospel rather than scary. First thing Jesus says is, you're a man without any deceit, Nathanael. That's the truth about the inside. And then he says, while you were under the tree, when Philip found you, I saw you. And that's the knowledge about the outside. So you see where I got it. No deceit in here, under the fig tree out there. I'm just pointing those two things out. And of course he responds, Rabbi, you're the Son of God. You're the King of Israel. I plan next week, God willing, to talk about all these titles. Messiah, Son of God, King of Israel. So that's where we're going. So I'm passing over those titles. And what's the issue of going up and down on the ladder of the Son of Man in verse 51. Hopefully we'll get there also next time. But for now, the last thing we're focusing on is these two, what feel to me incredibly precious. God knows me externally in every situation I'm in. God knows me through and through on the inside, the good and the bad. Why is that such good news? It's a great grace that Jesus today, the Son of God, the King of Israel, knows our condition outside. If you're alone sometime and you get into trouble, and nobody knows it. You're all by yourself, and you're in big trouble. Jesus knows it. You are never in a situation that nobody knows about. Ever. Don't care how dark it is. Don't care how dangerous it is. Don't care if you're kidnapped, folded up in the back of a trunk for days. He knows. And if you believe that He loves you more than you ever loved anything, and that He is stronger than the strongest energy in the universe, then that He knows you, that He loves you, and that He's strong combined to give you amazing peace in those situations where things have gone very badly. You know, I used to not be too impressed. I don't know whether it's age or whatever. I used to not be too impressed by the fact that Jesus knows all about me as a part of my comfort. I always wondered when I talked to simple folks, especially older women, and we'd be talking about their problem, and they'd end the conversation with this: God knows. I think that, well, God knows, which in their mouth was hugely comforting. They must have known something I didn't feel at the time. And now, for me to think that there is not a circumstance on the planet in which my God will not know it down to the last centimeter of the situation, then it's very precious. He loves me. He's very strong. And there's nothing about my circumstances He doesn't understand. It gets better, at least for me. Not only does He say, you were under the tree and I knew it. He says, behold an Israelite in whom there is no deceit, verse 47. And verse 47, I've thought a long time about this. What is the point of saying that? Especially after Nathanael just said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? The old versions say, here's a man in whom there's no guile, an Israelite in whom there's no guile. Guile is just an old-fashioned word for deceit. I don't think it would work to just take verse 47 all by itself and say that somehow Jesus is pronouncing on the virtue of this man. Just out of the blue, let's just choose deceit. Let's just say there's no deceit. Out of the blue for no reason whatsoever? I don't think so. I think this is a response to what He said. He said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Now, you know what Jesus heard when He said that? First, prejudice. Everybody that comes out of Nazareth is a jerk. Therefore, if he comes from Nazareth, he's a jerk. That's called prejudice. You make up your mind about the specific by the whole, okay? And that's what He said. I know Nazarenes. There ain't no Messiah coming out of Nazareth. And He just says that. Jesus hated hypocrisy more than He hated anything, it seems. I mean, you read the story, woe to you, woe to you, woe to you, woe to you, Pharisees. I mean, Matthew 23 is horrible. And what did they do? They were whitewashed tombs. He was so cleaned up here, and inside, dead men's bones. Ugh, Jesus hated that. And Nathanael wasn't like that. What you see is what you get. Nobody can come out of Nazareth who's good. I'm telling it like it is. I think